People's Open is back. See the PGA Tour's best tee it up at the 2026 WM Phoenix Open, February 2nd through the 8th at TPC Scottsdale. Get tournament and ticket info at WMPhoenixOpen.com.
Every day begins with the promise of something new, a new perspective, a fresh start. At Banner Health, right here, right now, we're pioneering new ways to treat cancer with our own immune systems. We're among the first to treat Parkinson's with a patient's own cells. And we're a world leader in artificial heart implantation, all while training over 1,300 doctors every year. Impressive, right? It's just another Banner day. Banner Health.
Come on down to the Ranch House Grill. Comfort food is your next meal. Pork chili verde, chicken fried steak. Ranch House knows you'll think it's great. Hey there, Phoenix. Have you tasted the best breakfast in town yet? Well, Ranch House Grill has it. From our crispy golden chicken fried steak to our hearty slow-cooked pork chili verde, our generous portions are sure to make you feel right at home. We serve breakfast and lunch every day from 6 a.m. to 2 p.m. in a cozy, family-friendly spot with a small-town feel. After 19 years of serving up Southwestern comfort food, we're still right here on 56th Street and Thomas Road. Come on by and let us make your morning special.
Fridays at 5, I'm out exploring. From hiking up Camelback to skiing at Snowbowl, the adventures never stop with AAA. It's membership that travels with me, whether behind the wheel or a passenger, in my ride, my buddies, or a rental. AAA's got 24/7 expert help with tows, battery help, and more. Plus branch services like free passport photos and trip planning. Membership gives you all this and more for less than $6 a month, and I can add loved ones for half off. Call or visit your local branch today. AAA, your membership to go.
Meineke always treats your car like it's their own. With over 50 years of experience, Meineke's certified technicians will diagnose and fix any issue with precision and care. Schedule an appointment at Meineke.com. Trust your key with Meineke. Meineke, doing car care right.
Casino Arizona is uniquely Arizona. Feel at home with the Valley's one true locals casino, from the welcoming, friendly smiles to the slot win high five celebrations. Picture yourself with the coolest cast at our blackjack tables. Dine like a rock star at our buffet or Choya Steakhouse, where even the steaks are famous. Want to stack up rewards while having fun at your favorite casino? Join Salt River Rewards, and the excitement keeps rising with every return visit. Casino Arizona, uniquely Arizona. Must be 21 years of age or older. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-NEXT-STEP.
AM 1060 KDUS Tempe Phoenix and KSLX HD2 Scottsdale Phoenix. It's the lunch break.
January 27th, 2026. It is the Tuesday edition of the lunch break here on KDUS AM 1060, streaming on the KDUS AM 1060 app, and you can watch the program over on the KDUS AM 1060 YouTube channel. Chris Schubert, producer Evan, hanging out with you here today on the program, and it feels like another day, and we are yet again waiting to see what the Arizona Cardinals are going to do with their head coaching search. Thought perhaps maybe that I would hit this button today for the Daily Special and we would know who the next head coach of the Arizona Cardinals is. My guess is by the end of the day, things get made official, and we know who the next head coach of the Arizona Cardinals is. So why don't we start with that? It is our Daily Special because the NFL is down to 3.
Time for our top story of the day. It's the Daily Special.
There are just 3 openings that remain in the NFL. The Cleveland Browns, the Las Vegas Raiders, and the Arizona Cardinals. That's it. The Buffalo Bills, they've decided. They're not waiting for Clint Kubiak to become available. They're not talking the remainder of this week to Chris Shula or Mike LaFleur. They had an interview with Davis Webb. They're good. They are promoting Joe Brady, their offensive coordinator. He's getting elevated. He's going to be the head coach. And so we are now down to 3. And today starts day 2 of a multi-day interview between the Arizona Cardinals and Rams offensive coordinator Mike LaFleur. It was a full court press yesterday, I would describe it as. We have reports of a dinner that they were going out to. I don't know if it was a steak dinner. Maybe somebody should call all the steakhouses in town, see if They saw Mike LaFleur and Michael Bidwell and Monty Ossenfort, but they went out to dinner last night after spending all day yesterday together. Because remember, Rams get eliminated Sunday. They were the late game on Sunday, late in the day on Sunday, late into the evening. The Rams season is over. You hop on the plane. You head back to Los Angeles. Mike LaFleur knows the season is over, but he knows the teams are going to want to talk to him. He knows that he can now sign on a dotted line and become a head coach somewhere. And he prioritized making Arizona his first stop because yesterday, less than 24 hours after the Rams season was over, he was already here. Wheels touched down in Phoenix, Arizona, for Mike LaFleur to meet with Monty Ossenfort, to meet with Michael Bidwell, to have an in-person interview for this gig. And before those wheels touched down, we knew that it was a 2-day interview that he was spending yesterday and today in the Phoenix area. Now, I don't know what you talk about for 2 days. You spend all day yesterday together. You go out to a nice dinner. I guess you want to get to know each other, figure out if it's the right fit, if Monty and Mike LaFleur can be on the same page when it comes to roster building. I understand that running a football operation and putting together a winning product, it takes some effort. It takes a good relationship between the head coach and the GM, and so that requires you to put the time in. So I tongue-in-cheek say, I don't know what you could be talking about for 2 days, but it's like that first date you go on, right? In today's day and age, you're swiping left and right. So you swipe left, you swipe right. You go on that first date, and if it goes well, you're excited about the second date. Well, I guess yesterday went well because today is going to proceed as scheduled. Steak dinner must have gone well if that's what they ultimately had.
Yeah, it must have been a really good date.
Really
because
good.
To go back-to-back days,
Right.
First, second date.
They planned in advance.
Yeah, and listen.
First date was going to go into the second date.
What a nice first date. A beautiful reported steak dinner. Hung out all day.
Got to tour the facility, got to sit down and have the football conversations. And I will say, we're having some fun here with this whole process, but everything about yesterday, the reporting of it leading into today, the Arizona Cardinals are putting a full court press on because Anthony Campanelli came here for an in-person interview. I didn't hear any talks about him being here for 2 days. I didn't hear any talks or leaks via the media about a steak dinner or going out to dinner. I didn't hear any of that. I didn't hear any of that about Anthony Weaver, who they reportedly had an in-person interview with. I didn't hear any of that about Vance Joseph or Raheem Morris or Matt Nagy. I didn't hear that about anybody else in this process. I've heard it about Mike LaFleur over the last 2 days. That tells me that the Arizona Cardinals have found their man. They found their guy. And today feels like yesterday we meet, we have a follow-up to our first interview, we make sure that everybody feels good about this. Any outstanding questions that maybe popped up from the first interview until yesterday's meeting get addressed. You decide whether or not you're on the same page. You kind of go out and have a celebratory dinner. And today, you know what today's going to be about, ladies and gentlemen? Today's going to be about signing on the dotted line. Because if the Arizona Cardinals have decided, if Michael Bidwell and Monty Ossenfort decided before yesterday or during yesterday that Mike LaFleur is who they want, he's their top choice to be the next head coach of the Arizona Cardinals, he is not getting on a plane without signing on the dotted line today. That is going to take place today if they've decided. Now, maybe they haven't decided. Maybe there's still some outstanding questions. Maybe you're wondering what the offensive staff's going to look like surrounding Mike LaFleur. Maybe you want to know what his plan is at quarterback. Maybe you want to know who he wants to bring along as his defensive coordinator to fill out his defensive staff. Maybe there's a worry about a young 38-year-old head coach being able to put together a staff on both sides of the ball. Maybe there are still some outstanding questions that the Cardinals wanted to get answered yesterday into today. I can't imagine that there are any outstanding questions now. You've met with them at least twice, once in person. You went out to dinner. If you're Michael Bidwell and Monty Ossenfort, maybe you wanted to sleep on it, but you woke up this morning knowing if you wanted Mike LaFleur to be your head coach or not. You woke up today knowing if you were going to put a contract in front of him. And that's why I think today is going to be about crossing T's, dotting I's, putting pen to paper, and making it official that Mike LaFleur is going to be the next head coach of the Arizona Cardinals. It's the way everything has been trending with this story from the end of last week when LaFleur was mentioned by Adam Schefter on Pat McAfee, when LaFleur was mentioned as one of the 3 major finalists, when it was reported almost immediately that LaFleur was coming here first. The week after the conference championships, the Cardinals were prioritizing getting Mike LaFleur into the building. Remember, they met with Anthony Campanelli already. So if they were sold and they loved him, they would have made an offer. Clearly, there was something that made them want to wait until today. And I think it's because Mike LaFleur's been their guy for a really long time. And they couldn't make it official. The rules limited when they were able to talk to him. And now with the Rams losing, I think today is going to be the day. I think January 27, 2026 is going to be the day that the Arizona Cardinals get their next head coach. And his name is Mike LaFleur.
It certainly feels that way. Because why else do you have a day 2? We talked about it in the morning meeting. What could you possibly discuss from a culture football perspective, what his goal is? All of the questions you would ask in an interview that you didn't get in through a full tour of the facility, interview process, and dinner last night.
Right.
What could you honestly not have gotten?
Well, take a step backwards, right? Go to the first step, right? That first interview. I'm sure in that first interview, there were a bunch of non-negotiables, right? In order for you as a interviewee to get that second interview.
Correct.
The Cardinals have some biases. Monty and Michael Bidwell probably had a certain candidate in mind in terms of qualities, right?
Correct.
And so in that first interview, the reason why the list is so large, 14, 15 names, is because they want to see who fits into that box. They want to funnel it down into a handful of names. Mike LaFleur got out of that funnel. He funneled his way into an in-person interview yesterday. So the non-negotiables about the plan at quarterback, the coaching staff, the moxie, the pedigree, being able to coach in the NFC West, you would think, if this process was done correctly, that those were addressed in that first interview. Or at least you had a really good feeling in that first interview that Mike LaFleur would be able to check those boxes. And then you get into yesterday, you tour the facility, perhaps maybe you start throwing some names out there for some coaches, a DC, an OC, what this staff might look like. If you're Monty and Michael Bidwell, you've had a lot of great conversations with guys like Raheem Morris, guys like Anthony Weaver, who could be potential DC candidates for Mike LaFleur. So I'm sure you're kicking those names around. You're having those conversations. But at the end of the day yesterday, when you're at dinner and the 3-course, 4-course, 5-course meal's been served, and you're sitting there after it's all said and done, you're having dessert, you're capping off what is the end of technically day 2, the second runaround of this. You have to know if you want Mike LaFleur to be your head coach or not. So I think today's about crossing T's and dotting I's. And let me tell you why. Getting Mike LaFleur, in my mind, would be a home run. Let me tell you what I think hiring Mike LaFleur would represent for the Arizona Cardinals. It would be getting with the times and getting somebody who's an X's and O's guy. And we're going to talk about this later on this hour because I know the one major big criticism of Mike LaFleur is, well, Chris, he doesn't call plays. Sean McVay's offense. That's what people who criticize Mike LaFleur sound like to me.
The voice is awesome.
Criticize this hire sound like to me. He doesn't call plays. Okay, we're going to dive into that. And I'm going to tell you why that should not be as big of a deal as you think it is. We're going to touch on that today. But Mike LaFleur is a 38-year-old offensive mind. He is the way the league is going. You go towards X's and O's, offensive minds who can scheme up, draw up, put offensive players in a position to succeed because that's the way the rules are written. That's the way the league is going. Defenses have to react. You need to be on the cutting edge, on the front line of offensive innovation. Is there anybody in this sport better at being on the cutting edge, the front line of offensive innovation than Sean McVay?
No.
So getting somebody who works with Sean McVay and has worked with Sean McVay for the last couple of years feels like a good starting point. Feels like you're not super off base if that's where you want to start your pursuit of getting with the times. So that's what a Mike LaFleur hire would represent. It would also represent you, and I know people said this at the time when they got Jonathan Gannon from the Philadelphia Eagles, but this is you now getting somebody from one of the best staffs in football and also one with staying power. Because I don't want to rub salt in the wound today because it's not what we do here on this show. We don't cover Philly sports, but we do have somebody who's an Eagles fan on the program. Things aren't great in Philadelphia right now around Nick Sirianni. So how great of a staff was it when you plucked Jonathan Gannon from Philadelphia? At the time, you thought it was great. Hasn't aged all that well. This time, Sean McVay, I'll give you the list. I'll give you a list of coaches that have coached for Sean McVay that have gone on to be head coaches in this league. It's a pretty lengthy list. We're going to need a whole segment to do it. I can't do it here in 2 minutes. That's how long the list is. So you're going to the cutting edge of the sport. You're leaning into the offensive mind. And don't give me Cliff Kingsbury was a cutting edge frontline member of the offensive revolution. Guy had never coached in the NFL before. Mike LaFleur's been doing this for a decade at the NFL level. He's been coaching since he was 26 years old in some capacity at the NFL level. So you're getting a cutting-edge X's and O's coach, which I think you need to figure out what you're doing on the offensive side of the ball. You're getting from one of the best staffs in football, and I think, and potentially this is the most important part of all of this, you are admitting, you're accepting, you are showing an understanding of where you need to get better first, and that is competing in your division. Because you are following the model that we set out early on in this process. If you can't beat them, steal from them. If you can't beat the Rams, if you can't beat the 49ers, if you can't beat the Seahawks, steal from them. Take their best to make you the best. Take what's allowing them to dominate the division and to dominate you in particular, and take that knowledge, take that institutional knowledge and turn it on its head and turn it against those teams. That's what hiring Mike LaFleur would represent for this franchise. That's why I am fully on board. He was my number 2 or number 3 name when we did our initial list. And considering when we got up to 10 names, 10 openings, we got the Bills involved, the Ravens involved, the Steelers involved, you couldn't see this type of conclusion coming for the Arizona Cardinals.
Not at all.
But the Bills hiring Joe Brady today, the Steelers hiring Mike McCarthy, the Ravens hiring Jesse Minter, the dominoes have all fallen for you. And I am not going to shy away from, yes, there's risk with hiring Mike LaFleur. But he is a young, smart, innovative offensive mind. That's the way the league is going. Nobody is going to fault you if you pick Mike LaFleur and it doesn't work out. Nobody is going to say, you picked wrong. You didn't get the right guy. You met a very challenging moment with what I think is one of the best candidates for your exact situation. We'll see if it can get done today. We're going to talk about all the pros and cons of it as the day unfolds, and maybe by the time the show is over, maybe by the start of tomorrow's show, we'll know if Mike LaFleur is going to be the next head coach of the Arizona Cardinals or not. But that is where everything is trending right now. I don't hear any noise about Raheem Morris getting an in-person interview this week. I don't hear any noise about a follow-up with Anthony Campanelli. I hear a lot about Mike LaFleur and his steak dinner that he had last night.
The entire national media, local media, everybody included, is talking about Mike LaFleur right now when linked to the Arizona Cardinals. One name to this point.
We'll see if they can get it done, if they can get it over the finish line, if they can cross T's and dot I's and make Mike LaFleur the next head coach of the Arizona Cardinals. 480-864-1060. That is the phone number for you to hop in, share your thoughts on the potential of Mike LaFleur being the next head coach of the Arizona Cardinals. And if you're listening over on the KDUS AM 1060 app, you can listen for your chance to win 2 tickets to the 28th annual Arizona Renaissance Festival in Gold Canyon. Open Saturday and Sundays from January 31st through March 29th. Magical moments await you at every corner of the 50-acre village. Don't miss it. And we've got your chance to win 2 tickets for listening on the KDUS AM 1060 app. When we come back, if they're going to be without Jalen Green and Devin Booker, what needs to change for the Phoenix Suns? That's next, the lunch break, KDUS AM 1060.
James Out West, your desert destination for sports here in the Valley.
Not surprised that the Cardinals aren't in. They fired their head coach. Kyler Murray's probably on his way out. It is what they like to call Black Monday. I'm kind of surprised by the Raheem Morris one in Atlanta. It's only been how long? Year? 2 years. So maybe that one. Pete Carroll gone. I told you from the jump when they hired Pete Carroll, I didn't like the hire. I think he's past his due. Let him go after year 1. You might as well have kept the guy you had before and saved a bunch of money.
Every other Monday night from 6 to 7 p.m. here on KDUS AM 1060. If you're hurt in a car, truck, or motorcycle accident, everything can change fast. That's when the attorneys at Sweet James step in. They help you understand your rights, connect you with medical care, and pursue the compensation you may be entitled to. You don't pay anything unless your case is resolved successfully, and help is available 24 hours a day. If you've been injured, call Sweet James for a free case review. Hablamos Español. 800-900-0000. 800-900-0000. SweetJames.com. This advertisement is paid for by Sweet James LLP. Responsible attorney, Bobby Tick Heavy. Offices in California. No guarantee of results.
The other day, I couldn't find my belt, and my wife found my belt, and as she brought it to me, she said, "Where would you be without me?" And I wanted to say, "Exactly here without the belt." In fact, I would have the belt because I would know exactly where it was in yesterday's pants on the floor. But now, we're not allowed to leave yesterday's pants on the floor, so I need a National Treasure-style map to find my one lousy belt.
Seth Meyers, live on stage, Saturday, March 14th, Talking Stick Resort. Tickets are on sale now at TalkingStickResort.com.
The garage door springs that come standard with most homes don't last. And when they fail, it's not just inconvenient, it's dangerous. Hi, I'm Tommy Mello at A1 Garage Door Service. Our springs are the toughest in the industry, backed by our lifetime warranty. That's right. Fix them once and you're covered for life. Don't risk your family's safety or your peace of mind. Let A1 replace your springs before they become a problem. From repairs to upgrades, it's A1 from day one.
A1 from day one.
The Valley of the Sun will roar to life this spring.
This ought to get pretty wild here.
Why is that, you may ask? Because NASCAR and the NTT IndyCar Series are coming to Phoenix. And it's going to be a weekend of good vibes the whole family won't forget. The best-in-class fan experience meets racing's toughest drivers for 3 days of action on and off the track, all surrounded by the beautiful Estrella Mountains. NASCAR weekend at Phoenix Raceway, March 5th through the 8th. Get your tickets now at PhoenixRaceway.com.
The hell out. End of quote. Look, I'm not saying the rap that he hadn't shown up well in his biggest games was unfair. He hadn't, but he absolutely did yesterday in beating back the Rams. The guy played the best game of his life in the biggest game of his life on the biggest stage of his life, and he is headed to the Super Bowl for the first time. Sam Darnold will play in the Super Bowl before Lamar Jackson and Josh Allen will. And no, Seattle didn't beat the Rams because of their vaunted defense, and Darnold was just some passenger on the bus. He was driving that rig yesterday. The defense didn't bail him out. He bailed them out. I'm not looking for anyone to apologize to the man, but I am looking for everyone to put some respect on the man because he flat out earned it. I'm Jim Rome. And remember, you can follow me on Instagram at Jim Rome.
O'Reilly. Check engine, ABS, or maintenance light on? Take the guesswork out of your warning lights with O'Reilly Veriscan. The service is free and provides a report with solutions verified by ASE certified master technicians. And if you need help, we could recommend a shop for you. Ask for O'Reilly Veriscan today.
O'Reilly Auto Parts.
Ah, the most beautiful time of year is upon us. Tax season. And Tax Slayer is here to help you file with 100% accuracy for your maximum refund. Guaranteed. Tax Slayer even has support from real U.S.-based humans if you have any questions along the way. File your federal return by February 8th for $22.99, and I'll help you get the refund you deserve. Take it from me, a talking calculator speaking to you through the speakers of wherever you are. Tax Slayer. File fearlessly.
KDUS AM 1060 is your home for the Jim Rome Show.
I'm not here to bury Mike Tomlin, but the fact is, this absolutely is the right move. He did the right thing, and he fired himself. All good things come to an end. Going a decade without winning a single playoff game is not meeting the standard.
The Jim Rome Show, 1 to 4 p.m. Monday through Friday, here on KDUS AM 1060. Online at KDUS1060.com and on the KDUS 1060 app.
Back here on the lunch break, KDUS AM 1060. Chris Schubert, producer Evan, hanging out with you here on the lunch break. I look over here to my left, and I see the Phoenix Suns schedule, and I see that they play a game tonight. I also see that it has a 7 o'clock start, which it's been a little bit.
Isn't it crazy? It now feels like because they've played, however many in a row pretty much at like 5 o'clock, I was ready to go home, go to the gym, get a 5 o'clock start at
7 o'clock. You have an extra 2 hours.
I'm going to shower. I'm going to make dinner. And then I'll sit down.
And they were at home on Sunday, and they started at 6. So they had 5 and 5:30s all throughout the East Coast swing. They come back for the first home game. It's at 6 o'clock. Now, boom, we're right back to the 7. We got 7 all the rest of the week. Tuesday, Thursday, Friday, 7 o'clock. The Phoenix Suns will be playing. So they're back in action tonight. They will be without Devin Booker. The question going into tonight's game is going to be, will they be without Jalen Green? And I want to spend some time here today kind of trying to figure out what this team's going to look like offensively if one or both of those guys do not play tonight and for the foreseeable future. Again, we know Devin Booker's not going to play for at least the next week. Jalen Green's a little bit up in the air. So if just Booker is out, I think this is the easiest thing to predict, right? And I say that. I'll put some air quotes around easiest. Because if Jalen Green is healthy enough to play, the offense is going to flow through him. The offense is going to flow through his ability to take the ball to the basket, to run this offense. He's just going to slot right into the Devin Booker role, and then everybody else is going to fall into their very similar roles, right? And I don't want to compare Jalen Green to Devin Booker as a one-to-one, but when Green was out and it was Devin Booker's team, obviously, it was things run through Devin. Brooks has his nights. Grayson Allen, Royce O'Neal, Colin Gillespie, everybody contributes. Well, if Devin Booker is out and Green is healthy, Green just slots into that role, and I think you kind of run everything as usual, right? And things mostly stay the same. Where it gets a little interesting is if both guys don't play. Because now you have to figure out who's going to be the lead dog. Who's going to be the go-to offensive option? And I really think there's only one candidate here of where this offense is going to run, and it comes with its fair share of risks. But it's going to be the Dillon Brooks show if both of these guys can't go. He's the veteran. He's the guy who at times has taken over games, has been a leading scorer when the team has needed him to be that. The offense is going to flow through him. Now, again, it comes with its risks. It comes with the volatility of how he plays, the fouls that he picks up, the cold shooting nights that happen. I don't think Dillon Brooks at this stage of his career, although I don't know if he was ever this, a number one option. He's at best a really good number 2 option. I think ideally he's your culture guy, number 3 scoring option. So to have him move all the way up the totem pole to be the number 1, it comes with its fair share of risks. But that to me is what it's going to look like. And it's going to require everybody else to step up. Colin Gillespie, you've been great in the fourth quarter. Here's your moment to be more relevant in the first 3 quarters. Grayson Allen, going to need those hot shooting nights to show up more often. Royce O'Neal, same for you. Mark Williams, needs you to take over a game. I need a big-time offensive performance. I know what I'm going to get defensively. I know what I'm going to get in the rebound department. But Mark Williams, here's your chance to go for 20 and 10 on a regular basis. Because there's going to be opportunities aplenty if both Jalen Green and Devin Booker are out tonight and for however long this week that Jalen Green remains out for. And this is where Jordan Knott's going to show off his coaching chops a little bit. But I wonder if the Phoenix Suns just continue to operate the same way. Because what is the Phoenix Suns mentality on the defensive end? They're going to play with a ton of energy. They're going to create turnovers. They're going to be physical. They're going to out-rebound you. They're just going to play harder than you on the defensive end. I think that mostly remains the same with or without Jalen Green and Devin Booker. Offensively is where you may need some tweaks. But I wonder if no tweaks are required at all. Because the Phoenix Suns offensively, they're top 10 in 3 points attempted. They're top 10 in 3 points made per game. And their reason being behind that is a very analytical, forward-thinking argument. I want more opportunities than you. I want more high-scoring opportunities than you. I want to take as many threes because that's 3 points compared to a 2-point shot. And if I can generate more opportunities and I can take more threes and more of them fall, I'm going to win on the margins. And so I wonder if the Phoenix Suns, without Jalen Green and Devin Booker, just continue to play the same way and they just look for more opportunities. They look to just win more possessions over the course of a game and play the same way and look for those shots for Grayson Allen and for Colin Gillespie and for Royce O'Neal and for Dillon Brooks. And they basically keep everything mostly unchanged, but it's just a different group out there. And it looks a little different without Jalen Green and Devin Booker, but they just try to really hone in on the defensive end about creating more possessions. Because for Jordan Knott and the Phoenix Suns, it's a possessions game. Can I get more possessions than you? Because talent-wise, I'm not better than you. But if I can get more possessions than you, maybe I don't have to shoot as well as you do. But if I get more possessions, that can make up for the difference in you having a good shooting night and me having a so-so shooting night. And if the nights where I'm just on fire and I get those extra possessions, boy, that's when I can start blowing teams out. And so I wonder if they kind of maintain mostly the status quo offensively and they just look to really hone in on the defensive end, and Jordan Ott looks defense first here and looks to just create every additional possession that they possibly can. And they just go crazy on the defensive side.
I think that's the way to do it. What did we say they need to be? The 18 Spurs?
The 17-18 Spurs or the 17-18 Utah Jazz, I believe, has been our comparison of one of the best modern defenses.
Like when we talked about them without Devin Booker the first time, it was how can you be the 17-18 Spurs? They still, to this point, feel better. It's same roster, right? And especially if Jalen Green doesn't play tonight, it'll be the same seeming lineup as it was then. They feel more equipped to handle this now than they did 2 months ago.
When we first had a Devin Booker-less Suns team, I would agree with that. I would agree that the time that the season, the amount of opportunities, the amount of games that they've played, the sample size growing has afforded them some experience, some cohesiveness, some togetherness that does allow them to be a little bit more battle-tested for something like this. And now, again, all of this with the caveat, we don't know if Jalen Green is going to play tonight. He's listed as questionable. He was listed as questionable on Sunday against the Heat and did not play. So it is very much up in the air. I think if Jalen Green is back, I think it's going to run very much the same as it did when it was just Devin Booker and Jalen Green was sidelined. I think it's going to look very similar, and it's going to be a very similar role for Jalen Green. It's when they're both out, if they are both out again tonight, just like they were against Miami, is where you start to try to wonder, what is this offense going to look like? How are they going to be able to stay in games? That's the name of the game. That's the question mark. Can this team do enough offensively to hang in games? Because they're not going to be able to score and keep pace and get into a track meet with teams, not shorthanded without Green and without Booker. So it's going to be the defensive end, and it's going to be about how do we maximize every offensive possession that we do get. So this is where Jordan Ott's going to earn some coaching stripes.
Yeah, you're going to know. If you don't know already, you're going to know coming out of this stretch what you think you're a head coach.
Yeah, and we've said it. I think we said it on yesterday's show. How do you stay afloat? Right? How do you find a way to just stay afloat considering the injuries that are now piling up for you? Just stay afloat. Doesn't have to be pretty. Just stay afloat. 480-864-1060 is the phone number if you want to chime in on the Phoenix Suns tonight, back in action against the Detroit Pistons. The Brooklyn Nets. Detroit is up on Thursday against the Brooklyn Nets tonight. And the status of Jalen Green very much up in the air. We do know that Devin Booker will not play. He's going to be reevaluated, I think, over the weekend or early next week is the 1 week mark since we learned that he was going to be reevaluated in the week. So we'd love to hear from you on the Phoenix Suns. If you're listening on the KDUS AM 1060 app, you can listen for your chance to win 2 tickets to the MLB Players Trust Playmakers Classic at Warehouse 215 on Wednesday, February 18th. When we come back, does it matter that Mike LaFleur doesn't call plays for the Rams? We'll talk about it next. The Lunch Break, KDUS AM 1060.
Join in on the Sports Zoo with Dave Rooster Beerstein.
Rams and Seahawks, Andy. I don't understand how to be so aggressive. But instead of definitely going up 13-10, your play calls resulted in a quick punt, so quick that Seattle actually gets the ball back, goes down the field and takes a lead, and then they get the jump on you in the second half with that fumbled punt. And that was a huge mistake by the Rams. But I'm going to go back to how they mismanaged that at halftime.
Live weekdays from 5 to 6 p.m. here on KDUS AM 1060 and on the KDUS 1060 app. Sometimes the great ones just keep getting greater. 7-time Grammy winner Gladys Knight has rolled out hit after hit over her illustrious career. Don't miss Gladys Knight Saturday, March 7th at 7:30 p.m. Tickets on sale now at celebritytheater.com. Brought to you by Danny Zalisco Presents.
Right now at Del Taco, you can get 2 grilled chicken tacos for just $3. You hear that? That's the real sizzle of a real grill. At Del Taco, we freshly grill our marinated chicken right here in our kitchens. Not some factory far, far away. It's what makes our grilled chicken tacos a top seller for over 30 years. So come get 2 grilled chicken tacos, made to order for only $3. A real good deal we can all use right now. Only at Del Taco.
Del, yeah.
Price and participation may vary.
Hey guys, if you have low T, it's time to get your edge back. Start testosterone therapy at Red Mountain Weight Loss and get a month of GLP-1 weight loss medications absolutely free. That's a $299 value. Listen, just because you're getting older doesn't mean you have to feel older. Prescription testosterone restores your get up and go, so you'll feel like you're 20 again. Get more muscle with less effort in the gym. You'll also think better, sleep better, and your love life will be better. Look, don't be fooled. Nothing boosts testosterone like actual testosterone. It's a game changer. And if you're looking to lose weight, there's nothing like the combo of testosterone and a GLP-1 medication. It'll burn that belly fat and get you ripped. This month, get free GLP-1 medication, a $299 value, when you start testosterone therapy only at Red Mountain Weight Loss. Book your video appointment today. Go to redmountainweightloss.com or dial pound 250 on your phone. Keyword Red Mountain. Time to get your edge back at Red Mountain Weight Loss.
Meineke's highly skilled and certified technicians always treat your car like it's their own. With over 50 years of experience, Meineke will diagnose and fix any issue with precision and care using the best state-of-the-art equipment. You can always depend on Meineke to do the job right and get you back on the road in no time. Save time and schedule an appointment now. Visit Meineke.com today. Trust your key with Meineke. Meineke, doing car care right.
Hi, I'm Lexi, your friend and jeweler at Shane Company, where we're all about you. Your style, your budget, your dream engagement ring. We'll take total care of you. First, come browse all the beautiful settings in our cases. Take your time and try on as many as you want. You'll know when you put your ring on. Your heart will skip a beat. Now, onto your center stone. We can look at different diamond shapes and sizes until we find the perfect match. Come visit us in store, because a friend wants you to get exactly what you want. Shane Company, your friend and jeweler.
The Dan Patrick Show.
I wasn't going to ask too much of Jarrett Stidham. I just wanted him to maintain. You throw one deep pass late, and then you come back and try to throw another deep pass in those conditions, and he gets picked off. They just weren't threatening on when either team was, because the weather was, obviously rough enough that we could even find, Jim Nance is like, I don't know where the ball is. I think the 33-yard line.
Weekdays, 7 to 10 a.m. on KTUS AM 1060.
Back here on the lunch break, KTUS AM 1060. Chris Schubert, producer Evan, hanging out with you. Thanks for hanging out with us here today. More on the Phoenix Suns coming up in about 10 minutes from now. Should these injuries change their trade deadline plans? But before that, Mike LaFleur appears to be the favorite, appears to be the guy that's going to end up being the next head coach of the Arizona Cardinals. But until it is official, we are diving in to who Mike LaFleur is as a head coach. And the one criticism, and I don't know if I can do the voice again, because I think I hurt my voice doing it in the open. I've had a bit of a scratchy throat since I've done the voice. The mocking nature of the people who don't like Mike LaFleur because he doesn't call plays in the Rams offense, and Sean McVay's the dude that calls plays. But I want to just tell you who Mike LaFleur is as a coach. That's where I want to start this conversation, in attempting to dispel this criticism that some of you may have about Mike LaFleur. And maybe I won't be able to convince you why Mike LaFleur would be a good hire, and maybe I won't convince you that this criticism is mostly nothing. At least for me it is. But I'm going to try. I'm going to give it my best effort. And I want to start by hopping in the time machine, if that's okay with everybody. And when I go back to 2014, and I want to go back to the 2014 Cleveland Browns, and I know it's Cleveland. I get it. But the 2014 Cleveland Browns had an offensive coordinator by the name of Kyle Shanahan. And they had an offensive intern on that staff. And his name was Mike LaFleur. So nearly a decade plus ago, 12 years ago, Mike LaFleur was an offensive intern for Kyle Shanahan's offensive staff in Cleveland. You know who else was on that staff? How about Mike McDaniel, who went on to be a pretty successful head coach in his 4 seasons in Miami? Okay, maybe you're not interested in the 2014 Cleveland Browns. How about I go to the 2015 Atlanta Falcons? Because when Kyle Shanahan left there to go to Atlanta to go be the offensive coordinator for Dan Quinn, do you know who went with Kyle Shanahan? Mike LaFleur. Mike LaFleur was an offensive assistant, got a promotion, went from intern to assistant. And you know who was on that staff? Oh, I don't know, Matt LaFleur, Mike's brother, was the QB's coach. Mike McDaniel was an offensive assistant. So Mike McDaniel, another year where there was crossover between Mike LaFleur and Mike McDaniel. Okay, maybe you're not interested in 2015. How about in 2016? Again, Kyle Shanahan there again. They went to the Super Bowl that year. You know who was on that staff? Oh, yeah, let me just check my notes here. Yep, Mike LaFleur, offensive assistant. Matt LaFleur is the quarterback's coach. Mike McDaniel as an offensive assistant, coaching in the Super Bowl. Then he goes to San Francisco, that being Mike LaFleur, and works under Kyle Shanahan again for a couple years. Then he goes to New York. Doesn't go well for Mike LaFleur in New York. I'm not going to shy away from that. Didn't work out. They picked the wrong quarterback at 2. It was his first time calling plays. It was a big market. It's New York. There was a lot of attention and hype around that team, and it just didn't work. So after 2 seasons, he gets let go. And then he goes to Los Angeles, where he gets to work with Sean McVay. And he's the offensive coordinator, but he doesn't call plays. Remember, we can't hire Mike LaFleur because producer Evan, he doesn't call plays. He doesn't call plays, so he's out. But oh, wait. Because he did call plays. He called plays this season. He called plays one game in particular. He called plays when the Los Angeles Rams absolutely obliterated the Arizona Cardinals. He called the game because Sean McVay was ill, was sick. And so instead of muddying up the waters, since LaFleur was the one who was putting together the game plan all week and talking with the offensive coaches and talking with the players, they let LaFleur call plays. They had 530 yards of total offense. Up to that point was the most they had in a game all season. They had 7.9 yards per play. Up to that point, it was the most they had in a game all season. I apologize. I have to do this.
I'm a huge nerd.
They had a plus 0.4 EPA per play. That was the highest they had up to that point in the season. They had a plus 0.43 EPA per pass. That was their second highest mark of the season.
I'm a huge nerd.
They had a 0.36 EPA per run. This is just efficiency, how good you are on a per play basis. Running the football, the second highest. Matt Stafford only pressured 5 times on 31 dropbacks. They called 36 runs. It was their second most run calls in a single game. 53.6% of the plays were runs. That was the second most of all season. 5.4 yards after contact per rushing attempt, the second highest of the season. A 66.7% success rate on runs was their highest of the season up until that point. They had 6 runs of 10 plus or more yards. That tied their Eagles game as the most up to that point that the Rams had in a game this season. I know it's a 1-game sample size, but boy, did Mike LaFleur know how to call plays on that day. Boy, did Mike LaFleur know how to game plan that day. Boy, did Mike LaFleur know how to script a game and find balance and run the football and also keep his quarterback upright and be efficient both in running and passing the football. It's pretty good. Pretty good in the one game that they had. And oh, by the way, the Kyle Shanahan, Sean McVay coaching tree, it's got a lot of great coaches that are coaching in the league right now who didn't really call plays for those teams. Did Matt LaFleur call plays for the Rams? No, he actually left to take the Tennessee job so that he could call plays so that he could become the head coach of the Green Bay Packers. Liam Cohen was there for a couple years. How's he doing down in Jacksonville? I know he was let go in Los Angeles, but he was there. How's Kevin O'Connell doing in Minnesota? He didn't call plays, right? How did Mike McDaniel do not calling plays for Kyle Shanahan? How's Zach Taylor doing in Cincinnati? Went to a Super Bowl, right? Doesn't matter if you've called plays. It matters if you know how to scheme. It matters if you know how to put players in a position to succeed. Yeah, you have to call plays. But Mike LaFleur called plays for 2 seasons in New York, and it didn't go well, so he learned from that. He called plays this year in 1 game for the Rams, worked out pretty well. And he had, for a number of years, the opportunity to sit in a room every single day of the season with the names of Sean McVay, Kyle Shanahan, Mike McDaniel, and his own brother, Matt LaFleur. Pick 4 of the best offensive coaches in football right now. Guarantee you 3 of the 4 names I just mentioned are on that list. Guaranteed, if you needed to pick an offensive-minded coach right now to run your franchise, you would pick Sean McVay. You would pick Kevin O'Connell. You would pick Kyle Shanahan. You would pick Mike McDaniel. Teams tripping over themselves to get an interview with Mike McDaniel to run their offense. Those are the people that Mike LaFleur, for the last 12 years, has been in a room with, has talked football with, has game planned with, has coached in the Super Bowl with. That's the company that Mike LaFleur has kept. So your criticism that Mike LaFleur hasn't really called plays, didn't call plays for this great Rams offense, and the time he did call plays in New York, it was for the Jets and it didn't work out all that great, okay. I'll bet on a guy who's been surrounded by some of the smartest and best offensive minds in the sport right now, that he has been able to pick their brains and work alongside with every single day. Sean McVay said he could call plays right now. Sean McVay said that he may consider, if LaFleur stuck around, letting him call plays in the future. He called LaFleur a future head coach. I know. He's going to talk up his guy. But for Sean McVay to say he would be willing to give up play calling duties shows you the trust that he has in Mike LaFleur. So please, spare me the reasoning that Mike LaFleur isn't a good coach is that he spent 2 years in New York in a train wreck when they had one of the worst quarterbacks you're ever going to see play in the sport of football in Zach Wilson. And he had to try to develop on the fly a number 2 overall pick while also installing an offense in New York in one of the largest media markets in the world. That would be a struggle for anybody.
And I also want to say, you know what all of that experience does? You worked in Cleveland. You moved up the chain. You worked in New York. You would call those dysfunctional organizations. You've worked for the Rams. You've worked for the Niners. You would call those some of the most well-run organizations in all of football.
Absolutely.
From a year in to year out basis.
Absolutely.
You know what it looks like. You know what failure looks like at this league. You know what success looks like in this league. You have to see both sides of it.
You are not getting a 38-year-old first-time play caller to be your head coach. If that was the case, if LaFleur wasn't really calling plays and he didn't have the background that I just laid out for all of you, I could understand the criticism. It's the same criticism that Buffalo Bills fans had about hiring Davis Webb. I like Davis Webb. He's working under Sean Payton, but he's only been a coach for 3 seasons. He's never called plays before. That's the guy that you're going to have run the operation for Josh Allen to try to get over the hump and win a Super Bowl? I could understand those question marks. He's worked in football for 12 years. He's worked with Shanahan, McVay, McDaniel, his brother. He's been around some of the smartest minds. He's been around some of the best organizations. He's also been around some of the worst organizations. I think that actually helps Mike LaFleur to come to Arizona. He knows what it's supposed to look like in a good way. And to your point, he knows what it's supposed to look like in a bad way. So please, I don't care that he didn't call plays last year. Look at the resume. Look at how long he's been a coach in this league. Look at the company that he has had the ability to keep over these 12 years and tell me that he's not going to be able to bring a great scheme and a great X's and O's approach. And that 12 years of coaching all over the place is going to allow him to build out a pretty awesome staff on both sides of the ball. 480-864-1060 is the phone number for you to hang out with us here today on the program. You can listen over on the KDUS AM 1060 app for your chance to win 2 tickets to the MLB Players Trust Playmakers Classic at Warehouse 215 on Wednesday, February 18th. When we come back, do the Suns need to alter their trade deadline plans? That's next. The lunch break, KDUS AM 1060.
NAU men's basketball continues on both KAZG 1440 and KDUS AM 1060 this Thursday. Join the Lumberjacks as they look to defend home court against Eastern Washington. Head coach Shane Burkhardt knows his team has the tools they need in order to score another home win. Join Mitch Stroman on the call live. It's NAU versus Eastern Washington this Thursday. Pregame at 5:30 p.m. over on KAZG 1440 and tip-off at 6 also on KDUS AM 1060.
For over 50 years, they redefined rock. The spirit lives on.
Monday warrior, mean strike. Today's Tom Sawyer, mean pride.
Geddy Lee and Alex Alex Lifeson celebrate 50 years of Rush 50-something tour, December 1st and 3rd, 2026, Desert Diamond Arena. Tickets are on sale now at rush.com. Legends don't stop. They evolve. Rush.
Hey, it's Phil Shaver with HomeSmart, and I want to buy your house. I'm a local investor that buys homes for cash all over Maricopa and Pinell County. I buy inherited homes, nice homes, rental homes, homes that are behind on mortgage payments, and I even buy ugly homes that need fixing. Also, are you looking to get closer to market value for your house? As a licensed realtor, I've been able to buy and sell thousands of homes. Since I'm local, you can call me directly on my cell phone, 480-409-9999. Again, that's 480-409-9999. I don't work for a big corporation or hedge fund, so I can only buy 3 to 5 homes per month. There are no fees involved, and you can pick your own close date. The best part is I buy homes as is, so you don't have to worry about doing any repairs. Again, you can call me directly at 480-409-9999, or you can go to my website, gosoldaz.com. That's gosoldaz.com.
Right now at Mark Kia in Scottsdale, buy a brand new 2025 Kia K4 for $369 a month for 72 months at 4.99% APR with just $2,000 down.
The name to remember? Mark Kia. Mark Kia. Finance offer expires February 7, 2026.
Try the Chicken Melt Trio at Port of Subs. Protein-packed with bold sauces and built to crush cravings. Order now at portofsubs.com.
Slice fresh sandwiches, Port of Subs.
An ASU women's basketball rivalry match right here on KDUS AM 1060. This Wednesday, join the Lady Sun Devils as they square off against Arizona. Head coach Molly Miller knows her team has what it takes to hit the court and win over the Wildcats. Join Jeff Monaco live from Tempe. It's ASU versus Arizona this Wednesday night. Pre-game at 6 p.m. and tip-off at 6:30 right here on KDUS AM 1060. Online at KDUS1060.com and on the KDUS 1060 app.
Back here on the lunch break, wrapping up hour number 1 of the Tuesday edition of the program. I won't lie to all of you. I'm just kind of waiting for the breaking news sounder to hit during the program. This feels like today is going to be one of those days where the sounder goes off and the entire second hour of the program is thrown into a state of chaos.
I do have Twitter pulled up for us.
No, I'm not saying that we would miss it. I'm just saying that I feel like I go into every segment that's not Cardinals related, kind of like bracing for the breaking news sounder to throw everything off. Because we've got buy or sell at the top of the hour. We've got the NFL news dump. We've got another LaFleur segment. So if it happens in hour number 2, I think we're prepared. We talked about the Suns in the second segment of the program. We're talking about them again here to end hour number 1. I'm just kind of bracing for the breaking news sounder because the Bills hired Joe Brady today. Titans look like they're going to get Brian Daboll if he doesn't get the Raiders gig. Dominoes, we're running out of dominoes. I've been using that analogy. There's not many left.
Very little left.
Very little dominoes left on the table. But we'll see what happens. We'll keep you updated here as the show moves on. But okay, back to the Suns because these injuries, I want to try to figure out if they are going to impact the Phoenix Suns and their trade deadline plans. Because, again, I hope it doesn't sneak up on anybody, but the NBA trade deadline is in like 10 days. It's like right around the corner. Today's what, the 27th? The trade deadline is the 5th. We've talked about this. They play Golden State that day. Right around the corner. NBA trade deadline here before you know it. Phoenix Suns have to decide what they want to do. So could these injuries impact their trade deadline plans? Well, you have to wonder if Devin Booker misses more than just a week, does it push the Phoenix Suns? Does it push Brian Gregory? Does it push Matt Ishbia? Does it push Jordan Ott more in the lane of getting help, getting reinforcements, getting another good scoring option, a depth scoring option that for at least the time being can help you tread water, and then when Devin Booker comes back can fall into a more appropriate role coming off the bench, being an additional scoring option? Or does it make you kind of turtle? And I don't say that in a bad way, but do these injuries make you kind of turtle and say, I don't want to do this because I don't know what the future is going to hold. I don't know what's going to happen in 2 weeks. I don't know how long Devin Booker is going to be out. So I don't want to mortgage what little of the future, what little of the farm I've got left. We use that phrase, mortgage the farm, mortgage the future. The Phoenix Suns have been mortgaging the farm for so long, I'm surprised they even own any of the farm. They have one little parcel of land. I'm going to risk making myself look foolish here, Producer Evan, so maybe you can help me. What's this show, Yellowstone, that everybody loves?
Yeah, I've never watched
okay,
it.
so we're gonna do this together. We're either going to be right or wrong together on this. But I believe one of the storylines in Yellowstone is that people want to take the land. They want to buy pieces of the land.
I mean, yeah. Makes sense,
okay.
right?
The Phoenix Suns are giving away the pieces of the land, and they've only got a little piece left. So if they're going to give away more of the little piece, just like on Yellowstone, they're fighting over these little patches of land. If you're going to fight over them, if you're going to potentially give it away, it better be worth it. And with Jalen Green on the shelf, and now a real legitimate question of if he can stay healthy right now for you. Devin Booker, at least out for the next week, I could understand saying, you know what, we've had a great season. This group is good enough. We're not going to make any big splashes. It was our previous position to not make big splashes, but now with this happening, when it's happening, we're going to be really cautious. We're not going to repeat the mistakes of teams in the past. I could understand you logically coming to that conclusion. And we know their widely reported goal, because it's been reported again, that the Phoenix Suns have a goal at this trade deadline to get under that luxury tax. Not the first apron, not the second apron, the luxury tax. And so I wonder if they can now spin this into, you know what? We're going to roll with this group. We're going to maintain that our goal at this trade deadline is to get under the luxury tax. We're going to do that. We're not going to blow this up. We're not going to make any major changes, and we're going to let this first season ride out. Now, again, I worry about this being another Cardinals from last year situation, but I can understand coming to that conclusion with the injuries being what they are and knowing you don't have a lot of wiggle room. You don't have a lot of the farm left. You got to be very careful what parts of the farm you give up. And when you're staring two of your best players right now, currently on the shelf, currently injured, do you really want to be selling off pieces of the farm? Do you really want to be moving some of the limited assets that you have? The answer is obviously no. So I don't think this is going to change their plans. I think it's going to embolden their strategy that they've apparently had this entire time.
You almost think it kind of, you said embolden, like amplifies the idea that, while we are happy with where we're at this year and we believe we're contenders, are we really going to put all our eggs in this year? Right? We looked at this process as 2 years, and these injuries coming up almost make you take a step back and say, okay, yes, it has been a very exciting start, but we're still looking to not mortgage the future.
Of course.
For what we have and what we've been able to succeed in this year, and this year alone.
Because even though this has gone better than expectation, we knew this was going to be a multi-year process to dig out of the mess, because while the product that we're all watching is great, while the product is way more entertaining and enjoyable and successful than maybe we all thought, behind the scenes, under the hood, the draft picks, the salary cap space, the luxury tax space, the luxury tax penalties, the future, medium and long term, is still in as bad of a state as it was when Brian Gregory got here in the summer. And we knew that was going to be a multi-year process. And so while, yes, it's great right now, the team and the results are great, there is still a lot of work to be done behind the scenes to clean up the mess. And so you don't want to make that job even harder by saying, yeah, we're having a great season. These guys are hurt. Let's go out. Let's do something. I don't want to say a splashy move, but let's go out, make a move. Let's get a depth piece. Let's get a scoring option. Let's help raise the floor of this team. And you give up something that maybe you don't really want to give up when you don't have a whole lot to give up in the first place. You got to be very, very careful with what you part with. And that was always going to be the case, but I think it's even more the case now that Devin Booker is going to be out for at least a week. Jalen Green's status is up in the air for tonight, but in general, I think his status for the remainder of the season should be considered up in the air. Guy hasn't played 2 straight games for the Phoenix Suns at all yet. You can't be chopping off pieces of the farm, what little farm you still own, to try to go out and help this team. You kind of have to just let it play out. And I know I'm the guy 2 weeks ago, who said, don't be the 2024 Cardinals. Don't make that mistake. Don't have a great start and squander it. And that team had injuries. But that team had cap space. That team had draft picks. That team had their medium and long-term future kind of buttoned up. The Phoenix Suns don't. They've got to be very, very careful. And I think these injuries happening when they are is going to be the perfect excuse, and I mean that in a good way, the perfect excuse to keep moving along this path and take the slow cook approach. Hour number 1 of the program in the books. We got buy or sell to kick off hour number 2 next. So lunch break, KDUS, AM 1060.
AM 1060 KDUS Tempe Phoenix and KSLX HD2 Scottsdale Phoenix. If you're hurt in a car, truck, or motorcycle accident, choose the attorneys at Sweet James. They help you navigate the legal process and pursue the compensation you may be entitled to. Free case review. Help available 24/7. Hablamos Español. 800-9 million. 800-9 million. SweetJames.com. This advertisement is paid for by Sweet James LLP. Responsible attorney, Bobby Tick-Heavy. Offices in California. No guarantee of results.
Bad Omens. Do you feel love North American Tour 2026? Live at Desert Diamond Arena, March 24th. Bad Omens. With special guests, Beartooth and President. Get tickets now at livenation.com. Bad Omens, live in Glendale.
Jewelry Graham. Hi, I'm Brian, your friend and jeweler at Shane Company, here to remind you that Valentine's Day is Saturday, February the 14th. It's the most romantic day of the year to give and get fine jewelry. We have expertly crafted gifts for every type of sweetheart, any style, any budget. Get creative and design a custom necklace with meaningful charms, including 14-karat gold letters, engravable hearts, and birthstones. For the one, we'll help you propose with a dream engagement ring. Come see our wide selection of hand-picked natural and lab-grown diamonds in all shapes and sizes, in stock and ready to compare side by side. At Shane Company, love is always in the air with our all-inclusive free lifetime warranty, everyday competitive prices, and no-pressure shopping experience. Come see us in store or at shaneco.com because a friend wants you to win Valentine's Day. Shane Company, your friend and jeweler.
To 15-year-old Harper, buying an $80 vintage rock t-shirt is a great investment. To Harper's mom, this logic has a few holes in it. So she helped Harper open a Wells Fargo Clear Access banking account. With no overdraft fees and tools to track spending, Harper's learning, one heavy metal tee at a time. However you make money work, Wells Fargo can work with that.
Terms apply. Visit wellsfargo.com/deposit disclosures for fees and details.
It's the grand opening of Fulton Homes' newest master plan community, Acclaim. This beautiful community features open spaces, multiple parks, and a large aquatic center. Visit FultonHomes.com. Fulton Homes. You're proud to own. We're proud to build.
For nearly 25 years, Primavera has helped thousands of Arizona students succeed with an accredited world-class education, tuition-free and from home. Don't wait. Enroll today at ChoosePrimavera.com. That's ChoosePrimavera.com.
AM 1060 KDUS Tempe Phoenix and KSLX HD2 Scottsdale Phoenix.
Hour number 2 of the lunch break right here. KDUS AM 1060. Chris Schubert, producer Evan, and you here today on the program as we enter another hour of LaFleur Watch. I don't have a fancy sounder the way I had for Lawler Watch. Lawler just had like the easy, we could play the Law and Order dun-dun, I don't have LaFleur. Oh, you know what I need? You know what I need? You know what I need? I need Dodgeball. Ben Stiller's character saying LaFleur. That's what I need.
Yes.
So if we could work on that during one of the breaks here today.
Yes, I completely forgot about that.
We can get that on the board. That is going to be my new drop anytime we talk about the head coach. This board's going to be littered with dodgeball quotes for Mike LaFleur if he ends up becoming the next head coach of the Arizona Cardinals. Okay, we kick off hour number 2 as we still await to find out if LaFleur is going to be the next head coach of the Arizona Cardinals with a little buy or sell. And my guess is that somehow that news is going to play a role in buy or sell.
Yeah, we're all over the place today in buy or sell.
Listen, there are two major stories. I believe it is my job on this program, and I know you believe in this because I've taught you a lot, and I mean that just because you're new to the radio business. You play the hits.
You play the hits.
If there's a major storyline, you keep pulling on that thread. And the two major storylines right now in this town are who the Cardinals are going to have as their next head coach and what the heck's going on with the Phoenix Suns right now. That's it. Those are the two threads we're pulling on today here on the program. And then if LaFleur gets hired, we'll pivot. There'll be something new. But a lot of LaFleur and a lot of Phoenix Suns today.
If the Cardinals don't hire Mike LaFleur, it would be a miss after everything that is going on the last few days.
I will buy this just because it would look really bad. You bring him in, you wine and dine him, you have the steak dinner. It's a 2-day interview. He's the first place that he goes to after getting eliminated in the conference championship, and you can't close the deal. It would kind of confirm a lot of the rumors about this job opening not being very attractive, not being something that people are seeking out, although it definitely feels like the Browns is the job in this cycle that nobody wants. That, people are just saying thanks, but no thanks to that job.
The two jobs, the Browns head coaching job, the Eagles offensive coordinator job. Other than that, everybody running for these jobs.
Everybody's running for opportunity. Even the Raiders, and that's a mess, and they play in a tough division. The people are enthralled with the idea of $100 million in cap space.
And Fernando
Mendoza, potentially. They have to actually make the pick. They could choose to do the Raiders thing and not take him. But yes, I think this would be a mistake. I've convinced myself that LaFleur is probably the right fit all along, more so than even like Robert Saleh, just because I think offense trumps all right now in the sport of football. But to do this song and dance and to then miss and then pivot to a defensive-minded guy when that's what you just got rid of, and we would still have all the questions about the offense, man, it would be tough to get up from that, considering you're already knocked down a peg this entire offseason in general right now.
You're already down.
You're already towards the bottom of the totem pole. You may go further down if this doesn't go your way. So, yeah, I would consider it a miss.
Because that means that he came here and something was more afoot than he even expected.
Right. He came here probably with the intention of, man, I might actually want this gig. And then something during the course of the 2 days changed his mind. I don't expect that to happen.
Tonight's Suns game feels like a must-win to stay above water during all the injuries.
You know how I feel about the term must-win. I hate throwing it out there in games that are not actually elimination games, win or go home, game 7. I just hate it because they can lose tonight and things can be fine. They could lose tonight and rattle off the next 7. Things are going to be okay. So I'm going to sell this just on the principle.
I didn't say is. I said feels like, given the injuries.
No, it doesn't even feel like a must-win. I know it's Brooklyn. I know you. This is one you want to have. We've coined this phrase. It's a want to, not a must-have. It's a want to have. You want this game just because you got Detroit and Cleveland coming up next. And those are going to be tougher roads to battle if you don't have Jalen Green and Devin Booker. And you feel like if those guys aren't around tonight, you can get through tonight's game.
Correct.
But no, it is not. It doesn't feel like I don't feel like tonight when I turn on the TV at 7 o'clock, I sit down and I go, Suns got to have this one.
Yeah.
I'm not going to have that feeling. I'm going to want them to win because, boy, if you can't beat Brooklyn, it's going to concern me about what the rest of the week's going to look like, especially if Jalen Green continues to be out. Again, all of this depends. This entire hypothetical is solely dependent on Jalen Green's availability.
Correct.
Because the flow chart is so different. If
the whole game is different.
If Jalen Green's available, they're going to beat Brooklyn no problem tonight.
Correct.
And so, you don't feel like it's a must-win. You don't feel like they need to tread water because they'll be able to get by with just Jalen Green because he's a good player. And if he can stay healthy, and again, I know it's a big if right now, but if he can stay healthy, you feel good about things. It's just there's so much uncertainty with his status in particular. With Book, we know, not going to play this week. Jalen Green, it's so hit or miss. And even if Jordan out right now told the media, Jalen Green's playing tonight, you're still in the second quarter going to be like, is he okay? Are we going to make it through? You're still going to be worried. So no, it doesn't feel like a must win. It's just another game on a calendar. I just want to know what Jalen Green's status is.
College basketball
really
is completely broken right now.
I mean, you could just say college sports are completely broken right now. What is the...
Have you not seen the college basketball stuff?
I'm assuming that you want to talk about the Alabama situation where they have brought in a player who was playing in the G League.
Yes, and now you have 10 teams doing it.
Well, what's good for the goose is good for the gander.
So, like,
right?
I just want to be clear on what this is. Like, Quinn, you can play a game. You just can't play more than one. So, Quinn Ewers, who started a game for Miami this year, that'd be like Texas being like, ooh, Quinn only played one. Let's bring him back.
I do think – hold on, because I'm with you. But if we're going to make a case, we need to make a compelling one. Playing in an NFL game is different than playing in a G League game. We would agree with that, right?
Correct.
The G League is still professional, but it is a different level than the NFL. So no, I don't think it's apples and apples with the Quinn Ewers example, but it is ridiculous that somebody can declare for the draft. They can go to the combine. They can go through the draft process. The draft can come and go. They can get drafted. They can not get drafted, and they can sign a professional contract with a G League squad, play in G League games, right? Because he played in G League games.
Correct.
And then say, oh, no, you know what? I still have eligibility. I'm going back to Alabama. Now, I want to be the guy that says shame on Alabama for doing this. Shame on the NCAA for allowing it.
I was going to say shame on them for allowing this to happen.
And I don't blame any team that sees Alabama doing it and saying, I've got to try to counteract that somehow. I listened to, it was the TNT basketball crew with Bruce Pearl and Jalen Rose is on that panel as well. And they were talking. And one of the suggestions was, if I was another SEC team, I would just say I'm not playing. And if enough SEC teams did that, and all of those games were forfeits for Alabama, the SEC would look so bad. They would be so embarrassed that somebody would have to step in and do something. But you just don't know if you're going to get that type of institutional support. Because it can't just be one team. One team can't forfeit a game to prove a point. You need to have a unified front of a bunch of teams. That's clearly not going to happen. So, yeah, it's a joke. I will buy the take.
The Cardinals will make another splash in free agency. And, like, free agency splashes in baseball are, like, very different than football. Like, Josh Sweat, to me, was a splash in free agency.
And they were either going to get Josh Sweat or Milton Williams last offseason.
Which is, both of those are splashes.
They would have been, because Milton Williams was great for the Patriots.
Tremendous, yeah.
So, yeah, either one of those guys off of the Eagles defense would have been great. And we knew that they were putting all their chips in the middle. They were getting one of those two guys. And it was a quick pivot. I remember I was sitting on the other side and I had the TV on to follow the moves. Milton Williams signed with the Patriots. It was within like 7 minutes that Sweat had signed with the Cardinals. It was instantaneous to pivot. Do I think that there's going to be that type of splash this offseason for the Cardinals? I do. Because let's look at this. Let's assume Mike LaFleur is the next head coach. And I think it's fun to assume that Raheem Morris is going to come with him and be the DC. You're going to have two different schemes. They're going to want to get their guys in here. So I do think there are going to be some players that get brought in that LaFleur had connections with on the offensive side, that Morris has had connections with on the defensive side, that help them get familiar with this group. So, yeah, I do think there's going to be a splash.
Yeah, I mean, it's a really good point, right? Like, guys I've worked with prior.
For example, LaFleur. He was in New York, right?
Correct.
Breece Hall's a free agent this offseason.
Yeah.
And I know they've got James Conner, and I know they've got Trey Benson. But could he want to go out and get Breece Hall for his offense? Elijah Vera Tucker was drafted while Mike LaFleur was there in New York. And I know AVT's got some injury history, and not good injury history. But we think the Cardinals need 3 new offensive linemen, especially interior at the guard position. AVT can play 4 of the 5 positions on the offensive line. The only position he's never played at the NFL level is a center. If the Jets let him go, you don't think LaFleur is going to tell Monty, that's my guy for the interior of the offensive line? Those types of things are going to play here. So, yes. Now, they don't have a ton of cap space, but do I think they will make some type of splash? I do, yes.
Tons of free agencies out there. I was kind of trying to find guys that had worked offensively with the Rams this year.
They don't need a center, but boy, if Tyler Linderbaum is available.
Yeah. It certainly feels like.
Hey, Yoda Froholt, can you play guard?
That's what I was going to say.
Or Tyler, do you want to play guard? Like,
you
just try to get that guy in the building.
I was going to say, you could move somebody to guard pretty easily.
Like, you just try to get players like that in the building.
You're not moving. Yeah. Like, center to guard is a pretty comfortable switch.
Yeah, most guys are
like, you're not going guard to center.
Well, no, there are a lot of center guard types that have played both and can interchange.
Correct. Yeah. And it's just easier to go one way than it is the other because of the snap and everything else.
Yeah, and that's why AVT stands out to me, that if he becomes available, and you could probably get him on a modest deal because of the injury history, but he's played left tackle, he's played right tackle, he's played both guard spots. The versatility is almost to a T exactly what the Cardinals need. And you know what? That makes me feel better about the Cardinals doubling up. You sign somebody like AVT, you can play a bunch of different spots, and then at number 3, you take an offensive tackle. You protect yourself, and you build out a better offensive line.
And you can do it with a little bit of versatility.
Yeah. And there are a bunch of guys like that. Bunch of guys that have connections with LaFleur or Moores because they were coached by those guys at their variety of different stops that are going to be free agents this offseason. Those types of dots connecting is how LaFleur, and if it is Raheem Morris, they can hit the ground running as a coaching staff and institute their culture and have guys that they're familiar with.
Both the Seahawks and the Patriots should wear their throwbacks in the big game.
Where did this come from?
I keep seeing it on Twitter. Every time I get on Twitter.
People want them to go old school?
Yeah.
So why throwback for Seattle? We're talking like the Matt Hasselbeck throwbacks?
No, I'm
We're
talking about the ones
that.
they wear now, like the 80s.
The NFL doesn't normally do this.
No, I don't know if they've. The
know.
only team I can remember technically wearing a throwback in the Super Bowl was, remember when the Rams were really confused on what their jersey was, and their home jerseys were like throwbacks, and the away jerseys were like the St. Louis Rams away jerseys. Do you remember that?
I don't, off the top of my head, remember this. No, but I'll believe you.
I can pull up here what the Rams were in the Super Bowl.
That'll be great for the radio audience. You just showing me a picture of something.
I
Sorry.
They're gonna remember. I bet you they remember when they lost 13-3 to the Patriots.
Oh, that game. I've memory hold that game. That game was so bad. I've memory hold it.
But they wore these.
You're gonna have to do a better job
of
getting that to focus. And again, this is an excellent radio bit. Cheap plug for the KDUS AM 1060 YouTube channel, by the way.
Do you remember these?
I don't remember them, but you're showing me a picture, so I believe that it happened.
Just like block letters.
Yeah, but that wasn't technically a throwback. They were wearing them regularly, right?
Yeah, I guess.
So I'm going to say no. The NFL's anti-fun. We're not going to allow throwback jerseys.
But some people, too fun. NBA, too fun.
I don't know about that. MLB City Connect jerseys, awesome. Love them.
Some of them, great.
All of them, great.
No, not true.
All of them are great.
Not true.
All of them are excellent.
The Phillies are terrible.
I disagree.
We got a terrible, just blue and yellow is terrible. The Winter Olympics are better than the Summer Olympics. Just under 2 weeks away from the Winter Olympics.
You got curling.
Curling is the most underrated sport in the Winter Olympics.
You've got ice hockey.
Correct.
And these Olympics are in Italy, right?
Yes.
So we've got ice hockey and curling. I got to tell you, I love a good speed skating.
I love the speed skating.
I love a good speed skating. You know what I also love? I don't even know what it's called, but when they do like the slalom marathon thing in the snow, where they've got the big long ski poles, I guess, that they attach to their feet, and they're like running a marathon.
Have you ever seen the one where they also
called?
shoot at targets?
That's another good one. You know what? I'm on board with this. But I love all the swimming events.
The swimming events are great, but I think
Code with a great point. The luge.
The luge is fantastic, Code.
That's fantastic. That's a good
one. And then
like
the downhill ski jump. Have you ever seen the movie Eddie the Eagle?
I have not.
That's about that. Very good.
Yes, Winter Olympics greater than signed Summer Olympics.
That's all I got for you. By the way, I was looking at free agents that I think will be at Cardinal.
Okay.
Book it. I don't know if we can get any bets on this.
Okay.
Tutu Atwell will be an Arizona Cardinal.
Oh, I'd kind of like that. I'd kind of like that as the over-the-top threat. Michael Wilson's your big-bodied contested catch receiver. Marv's supposedly your wide receiver one that keeps things moving. You got Trey McBride to control the middle of the field, and you got Tutu to take the top off the defense to open things up in the middle. I kind of like that a lot. That's a good pull by you. I haven't done that much in-depth stuff.
Yeah.
But with LaFleur, I've got the Jets stuff in the back of my mind. So that's why AVT and Brees popped into my head. But yeah, a lot of good candidates. But see, that's what, if they hire LaFleur, those are the conversations we can start having about what this team might look like. So there you have it. A little buy or sell here today on a Tuesday. When we come back, it is Pro Bowl week. Is the Pro Bowl week edition of the NFL News Dump. And it's next on the lunch break, KDUS AM 1060.
KDUS AM 1060 is your home for the Jim Rome Show.
Indiana is not cheating. Lining up and punching the other guy in the face for 60 minutes, not against the rules. I challenge any of your social media whistleblowers to tell Kurt Signetti to his face that he is a cheater.
The Jim Rome Show, 1 to 4 p.m. Monday through Friday, here on KDUS AM 1060. Online at KDUS1060.com and on the KDUS 1060 app.
Screen time's over.
Be home by 11?
Put your phone down while we're eating.
When parents set boundaries, keep track of where their kids go, and talk to them about the dangers of underage drinking and drugs, they keep their kids safe. Visit TalkNowAZ.com. Be the influence. Talk early. Talk often. Talk now.
Thanks. Thank you.
Muchas gracias.
This message is sponsored by Substance Awareness Coalition Leaders of Arizona.
Chicago Sticks, the Windy Cities Tour. Finally, two iconic bands together for the first time. September 1st, Mortgage Matchup Center. Tickets on sale now at livenation.com. Don't miss Chicago and Sticks. All the hits, your kind of tour.
Maybe you've had your eye on a Fulton home. The premium craftsmanship, thoughtfully designed floor plans, resort-style amenities, and award-winning communities across the valley. A place where every detail feels intentional. For many buyers, homeownership can feel out of reach. But now, owning a Fulton home is more attainable than ever. With special pricing, limited time incentives, and interest rate buydowns on select homes, now is the right moment to make your move. From beautifully designed interiors to the legendary quality Fulton Homes is known for, every detail is built to stand the test of time. Visit any Fulton Homes community today or go to fultonhomes.com. Fulton Homes. You're proud to own. We're proud to build.
I'm Dan Patrick, and this is Above the Noise. You know, there was a time when a Pro Bowl nod meant something, like a badge of honor, helped Hall of Fame resumes, settled bar arguments, ended debates around the lunch table. You were either a Pro Bowler or you weren't, and that distinction carried real weight. Now, not so much. Between injuries, opt-outs, Super Bowl participants, the players simply declining the invite, the Pro Bowl has turned into a game of musical players. And that was once reserved for the league's elite, now filled with replacements and fill-ins. That's how Tyler Huntley and Mitch Trubisky and now Shedeur Sanders sit in the record books as Pro Bowl quarterbacks. Were they productive NFL players at points? Yeah. Were they among the very best at their position? No, it's not the player's fault. It's the system that's in place. The Pro Bowl still exists, but the prestige does not, because when everybody gets the label, the meaning of the label begins to fade. I'm Dan Patrick, and this is Above the Noise. DraftKings Sportsbook, an official sports betting partner of Super Bowl 60, puts you right in the center of the biggest game of the year. And when anything can happen during the Super Bowl, DraftKings has your back with an early exit. If a player goes down in the first half, you still get paid out in cash immediately once your bet settles. Download the DraftKings Sportsbook app now. Use code Patrick. Code Patrick to turn $5 into $300 in bonus bets if your bet wins. In partnership with DraftKings, the crown is yours.
Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER. New York, call 877-8-HOPE-NY or text HOPE-NY. Connecticut, call 888-789-7777 or visit ccpg.org. On behalf of Boot Hill Casino in Kansas, wager tax pass-through may apply in Illinois. 21 plus in most states, void in Ontario. Restrictions apply. Bet must win to receive bonus bets which expire in 7 days. Minimum odds required. For additional terms and responsible gaming resources, see dkng.co/audio. Limited time offer.
James Out West, your desert destination for sport here in the Valley.
Not surprised that the Cardinals aren't in. They fired their head coach. Kyler Murray's probably on his way out. It is what they like to call Black Monday. I'm kind of surprised by the Raheem Morris one in Atlanta. It's only been how long? Year? 2 years. So maybe that one. Pete Carroll gone. I told you from the jump when they hired Pete Carroll, I didn't like the hire. I think he's past his due. Let him go after year one. You might as well have kept the guy you had before and saved a bunch of money.
Every other Monday night from 6 to 7 p.m. here on KDUS AM 1060.
Back here on the lunch break, KDUS AM 1060. Thanks for hanging out with us today here on the program. It's the Pro Bowl week in the NFL. Very excited. Looking forward to it on Sunday.
Who isn't?
Saturday, whenever it is.
And that we did just hear from Dan Patrick. Pro Bowl doesn't mean much anymore.
Now that Shedeur Sanders is a Pro Bowler?
Just in general.
Here's what would bother me about it. The franchise tag.
Correct.
Sorry, not the franchise tag. The 5th-year option. What bucket you fall into in the 5th-year option is directly related to the number of Pro Bowls that you make.
Correct.
If you make a Pro Bowl, if you get selected as a Pro Bowler, not as an alternate, but if you get selected initially as a Pro Bowler, that puts you in a different tier when it comes to your 5th-year option being picked up as a first-round pick. Now,
a Pro Bowler.
Shedeur Sanders gets selected as an alternate. Now,
but he doesn't get 5th year.
I understand that. That doesn't affect me as a player. But now, if I'm somebody who was drafted in the first round and we're picking Shedeur Sanders as an alternate, I have every right to question the whole process. Yeah. You've now opened the door for me to say, is this really on the up and up? Is this really how we should be determining contracting incentives? That's the problem with allowing somebody like Shedeur Sanders, who's played in 7 games, threw 7 touchdowns, had a 3-4 record, and was not very good, to be named as a Pro Bowl.
No, it was actually the lowest QBR, I believe, for a quarterback that has started that number of games.
So that's why it's a problem. But okay, let's get into the Pro Bowl edition of the NFL News Dump.
Move over, Mike McCarthy. A new name's entered the fold. The Buffalo Bills have promoted Joe Brady to be the next head coach of the organization.
I don't get this. I really don't. You decided, and I'm just going to use Terry Pagula's words. You told everybody in that infamous press conference that Keon Coleman may still be having nightmares about. You told everybody that you walked in to that locker room after they had lost to Denver, and you saw the look on Josh Allen's face, and you realized, can't do it anymore. Can't have Sean McDermott lead this team. Need somebody else to get us over what you described as the proverbial playoff wall. And your decision is to promote somebody from within on that staff that you decided wasn't good enough. That staff, and I've seen this pointed out on social media by a bunch of people, and it's a good point. That staff that you threw directly under the bus for drafting Keon Coleman at a press conference, that's the person you think. And I get it, Joe Brady and Josh Allen have a great relationship, and that offense was humming last year. And in general, it's been humming with Brady and Allen. And maybe Josh Allen wanted Joe Brady to be the head coach, and that was it, end of story. But boy, you told all of us, you told the football world it wasn't enough for Sean McDermott, and you just promoted from within, that staff wasn't good enough to get you over the hump, so you just promoted the offensive coordinator. I think it's a bad message. I think the messages don't add up.
I got to be honest with you. I think this is one of the worst off seasons to this point I have seen from an organization. Okay, maybe the message isn't getting across anymore and you moved on from Sean McDermott, but really, is that really the case? You went to overtime in the divisional round game. And your quarterback, by the way,
turned the ball over
4 times and
400 times.
And gave 6 free points to Denver in the process. So that's part of the conversation.
Sure.
Then you go out and bring in Joe Brady. And let's face it, the reason you didn't win the AFC title game last year wasn't because of the defense. Your offense came up small. And you weren't able to get conversions late in the game when you needed them.
Yeah, I just don't understand how you can tell the world that you walked into the locker room and you could tell that it wasn't working, and you could tell that change was needed, but you didn't really change anything. You changed the guy at the top, and you just promoted from within. And I know he refuted this at the press conference, but doesn't it feel like there was a power struggle and Brandon Beane won and Sean McDermott lost? Like, that's just what it feels like.
I mean, this is, and we'll see how it works out. But
I also wonder, did they want Clint Kubiak, but they don't want to wait?
I think that's exactly what it is. I think they lost patience, and they felt like they had to find an offensive mind, and so they went with Joe Brady. I think this is the worst hire in football. I think this is across maybe multiple years. This is the worst hire. This is outside of who took Urban Meyer. Like that. This is horrible. Just given everything you had said, like he was part of the staff that drafted Keon Coleman. He's the offensive mind,
offensive coordinator. He's the guy who calls plays.
And you said the staff wanted Keon. That was a huge point.
There is so much pressure on Joe Brady. There is a mountain of pressure. They're opening a new building next year. They fired McDermott. They haven't gotten over the hump. And now all of the weight of the city of Buffalo is resting on your shoulders as a first-time head coach to get this team over the hump. And I get it. Some of the other names they were looking at, Davis Webb's never called plays before.
It's a new voice.
Nate Scheelhaus, the Rams pass game coordinator, doesn't call plays in Los Angeles. Trust me, I know who calls the plays in Los Angeles. I've been told till I'm blue in the face that it's not Mike LaFleur.
Oh, and by the way, in the sub game, he did not call plays.
So I understand that some of the other candidates were going to be first-time head coaches, but now you've put all the pressure on the world, because even though I don't think this is what happened, there are going to be a lot of people that feel like Joe Brady didn't deserve the opportunity to get promoted because he's part of the staff that they just, as an organization, said wasn't good enough.
And then, on top of everything, look at the Eagles, look at the Jets. Where are they having problems right now?
They can't hire coaches because I think the perception around the league is that Sirianni and Glenn are lame ducks.
Do you think Joe Brady has the same feeling? I certainly do. If this does not go well...
Oh, he's one and done.
They're one and done. And so you're going to tell me, honestly, that he's going to have a fine time and, not go well because they just lost in the divisional round in overtime to the number 1 seed on the road and fired their head coach. So what is it for Joe Brady to stick around?
To me, the messaging has been wrong the whole time. You can't say the messaging is you walked into that locker room and you just felt like enough was enough. You just have to admit that
he's lying.
Right. That message doesn't line up when you then promote somebody who's from that same staff when you didn't even talk to Clint Kubiak. You didn't even talk to him. You talked to Phillip Rivers, but you didn't want to wait to talk.
And that was a joke.
You talked to Phillip Rivers, but you didn't want to wait to talk to Clint Kubiak. Instead, you wanted to promote from within. So I think it was power struggle won by Brandon Beane and or Josh Allen said, that's my guy. And so they just did what Josh Allen wanted.
Yeah.
It could be one or the other. It could be both. I don't think it's none of them. I think it's at least one of them. But yeah, I don't see how it works out. Because not only now does Joe Brady have to call the plays and run the offense, but now he's got to fix the culture that's broken of 7 years, 6 straight years of winning a playoff game and not going to the Super Bowl. And he's got to fix that all while, and I'm sorry, this is an underrated, under-talked about point. They're opening a new stadium next year. There's going to be a lot of pressure on that organization and a lot of pressure on Joe Brady, and I don't know if he's up for the task. I just don't.
Doesn't feel like it.
And I don't know if any first-year coach would have been up for the task. But I think it's doubly hard for somebody who has been embedded in the failures over the last couple of years.
2 offensive coordinators and high-priced ones at that got jobs this week. The Titans are set to hire Brian Daboll as their OC.
If he doesn't get the Raiders job.
Correct. And the Chargers have officially hired Mike McDaniel.
Yeah, that's all. That's done. There was a social media clip put out. Mike McDaniel is the next offensive coordinator of the Los Angeles Chargers. I like Daboll there in Tennessee. I think it is all of the reason why I was on board with Robert Saleh. He had learned from his mistake the last go-around of hiring an inexperienced offensive mind. Mike LaFleur, who's probably going to be the next head coach of the Arizona Cardinals. Just too much in New York to try to do that hire a new offensive coordinator who's never called plays before, draft a rookie quarterback, develop that quarterback. It was just too much. It was just too much for a young, inexperienced staff. So this go around, he's got the quarterback in Cam Ward. Robert Saleh is going to revamp that entire defense. He was not going to allow himself to be inexperienced on the offensive side of the ball, and so he goes out and gets Brian Daboll. I think it's a home run.
And then Mike McDaniel to the Chargers. I didn't know what that fit is going to look like.
I like it. The more I think about it, the more I like it for Herbert. The personality clash between Harbaugh and McDaniel is funny to me. But they're both quirky enough that it might work.
Yeah, like in their own way, right?
Yep.
Yeah.
They're so quirky that it might actually feel normal.
You're probably right. And they feel quirky on such different ends of the spectrum. Yep. Jonathan Gannon has gotten the job. He'll officially be the Packers defensive coordinator for next year.
I think it's a good landing spot for him. It's a team that's going to be relevant. It's a team who's
ton of talent.
They play in a good division. And if he's able to lock down Caleb Williams twice a year, if he's able to shut down the Lions, if he's able to keep Kevin O'Connell in check, immediately Gannon. I mean, you just saw Robert Saleh get another job. Brian Daboll is potentially going to get another job after he got fired midseason, right? If Jonathan Gannon has a good year next year as the DC in Green Bay, he's going to get head coaching interviews. He got head coaching interviews after he got fired. He had an interview with Tennessee.
Yeah, I couldn't believe that. That was crazy.
So if he has a good year as the defensive coordinator and they play well in that division, he'll get some interviews next year.
I got to be honest, Tennessee has done a nice job, I think, this offseason in bringing in Saleh if they do end up with Daboll, which it looks like.
All that cap space.
And they have all of that cap space. It started with them interviewing Gannon. I believe he was their first interview. I was like, Tennessee, they got it wrong. Like this team, they're going to ruin Cam Ward.
Nope. I think they've landed in a really good spot.
In the big game, the Seahawks have officially opened up as 4.5 or 5 point favorites, depending on where you find it.
I mean, this is going to be up to you. I know what I would pick in this game, but you're going to make your selection, and I'm taking whatever the opposite is.
Oh, my gosh. I really don't know what I'm going to do. And luckily, I have a week and a half.
And you can defer, and you can let me pick, and then you'll take the opposite.
I'm certainly not going to do that.
Okay.
I'm not going to defer to the second half.
Okay.
And not that I have a backup quarterback playing at home and I want the ball, but I just feel like, I'm not going to defer to the second half.
Can I tell you something? And I don't want this to influence you. I think I would feel good with either side of the bet.
What? You could sell, like you're saying you could.
Like if you right now said, lock me in, 6-point play, Seahawks minus 4.5, and I had the Patriots plus 4.5.
I feel great.
I feel good.
Yeah.
If you took Patriots plus 4.5 and I got Seattle minus 4.5, I feel pretty good.
No, it's a really good line.
Now you could take the over if you wanted to.
What is it?
I don't know. That's your job. That's your lane.
That is. Give me, everybody, please hold.
Stand by. Pause. Stand by. We're efforting. We're working very hard. We're going to have a number here in a second.
Over 45.5.
So you could take that if you want.
Yeah.
And then you could leave me the choice, which would be bold with only a 4-point lead. I started to kind of put together what my meal plan might look like for the hot dogs. I might have 3 hot dogs with some eggs as my breakfast, so a little protein, a lot of protein. And then I would go hot dogs.
How much protein is in a hot dog?
Well, I was more talking about the eggs. And then instead of like doing a breakfast sausage, I would just do a hot dog, right?
Yeah.
You can trick your brain into consuming 3 hot dogs, right?
I think so. Hot dogs only have 5 grams of protein.
Right. Well, but if I eat 3 of them, that's 15 plus the eggs. You're talking 30 grams of protein right there.
Correct.
And then some 3 hot dogs with some mac and cheese for lunch. And then I don't have a plan for dinner just yet. So I'm ready for this if I have to eat the 70 plus hot dogs. I'm ready. The wife's been told she's on board. She's ready to help come up with plans. I mean, she thinks I'm stupid. She thinks it's stupid that this is what we do. But she's being as supportive as she possibly can.
No, that's good. It's good.
At first, I was really worried about this, but now that I've planned it out and we've given the out, you don't have to just eat the hot dogs straight.
Yeah.
You can have other food with it. I think this is easily doable. Now, it's still going to hurt to consume that many hot dogs in a 10-day span.
Correct.
Because it's 73?
Yeah.
So if you do it over 10 days, it's 7 hot dogs a day, give or take.
Correct.
So it's 3, 3, and 2. If you split it up per meal, that gets you there. It's still a lot of hot dogs.
It's a lot of hot dogs.
That's going to hurt. Anything else in the news, though?
No, I am looking because we found the over. I'm looking at some of these prop bets.
You cannot take a prop as your 6 point.
Yeah, some of them are fun, though.
Okay.
There is a passing prop of combined yards. Sam Darnold and Drake May for 450 plus at minus 119. I like that.
You cannot use that as your 6 point play. Can't do it. Maybe we'll get out some picks, some prop picks next week. Maybe we'll do that as well. So there you have it. Pro Bowl edition of the NFL News Dump. 480-864-1060 is the phone number for you to join us here today on the program. If you're listening over on the KDUS AM 1060 app, you can listen for your chance to win 2 tickets to the MLB Players Trust Playmakers Classic at Warehouse 215, Wednesday, February 18th. When we come back, we expect him to be the next head coach of the Arizona Cardinals. If he's not, is it a mistake? That's next. The lunch break, KDUS AM 1060.
KDUS AM 1060 is your home for the Jim Rome Show.
I'm not here to bury Mike Tomlin, but the fact is, this absolutely is the right move. He did the right thing, and he fired himself. All good things come to an end. Going a decade without winning a single playoff game is not meeting the standard.
The Jim Rome Show, 1 to 4 p.m. Monday through Friday, here on KDUS AM 1060. Online at KDUS1060.com and on the KDUS 1060 app.
Motley Crue, the return of the Carnival of Sins. September 16th, Talking Stick Resort Amphitheater. The Crew celebrates the 20th anniversary of Carnival of Sins. Motley Crue, with performances by Tesla and Extreme. Tickets on sale now at livenation.com. Motley Crue, part of the America First Credit Union Concert Series.
Right now at Mark Kia in Scottsdale, we have the vehicles you want at affordable prices.
For instance, the sought-after 2025 Kia Sportage is available for $27,999, and with $2,000 down at 3.99% financing for 72 months, drive out with a payment of $475 a month. We have affordable options on all of our most popular Kias.
Now available at Mark Kia at the Scottsdale Auto Show. The name to remember, Mark Kia, Mark Kia. Go to markkia.com for more details. Offer only through Kia Motors Finance. Offer expires February 2nd, 2026.
When is Kate getting here?
Should be any minute. She was on one of her Goodwill treasure hunts.
Treasure hunt? Oh, here she comes. And in an amazing new jacket.
Ready to rock, guys?
You definitely are.
Where'd you get that?
Don't you love it? I got it at Goodwill.
Kate got it at Goodwill. With hundreds of thousands of unique items arriving in-store daily, you can get it at Goodwill too. Find your convenient neighborhood location at goodwillaz.org. Nonprofit for good.
What would you do if you could multiply your cash? Would you multiply your vacations? Multiply your relaxation? Or multiply your celebrations? With multiplier scratchers from the Arizona Lottery, you can multiply all the good things like vacations, relaxation, and celebrations. Play multiplier scratchers for over $270 million in prizes and multiply your fun. Arizona Lottery. Love the play.
A noisy garage door is a cry for help that often requires only simple maintenance. However, if left untreated, could lead to costly repairs. Hi, I'm Tommy Mello from A1 Garage Door Service. Don't wait until a simple garage door repair becomes a major problem. If your garage door is noisy, if bugs are getting in, or if it struggles to open, your garage door is in need of repair. From simple repairs to upgrades, it's A1 from day one. We fix garage doors fast and with quality parts designed to last a lifetime. Our springs, rollers, and openers are tested by running them up and down, open and closed all day, 24/7, so you can feel confident with every A1 garage door repair. Replacing the bottom rubber on your garage door can have a huge impact on the number of bugs you see in your garage and in your home. Keep those creepy crawlers outside by calling A1 Garage Door Service today and receive the best service, best parts, and best warranty in the industry.
A1Garage.com, A1 from day one.
Call today and take advantage of our $29.95 tune-up special.
Join in on the Sports Zoo with Dave Rooster Bierstein.
Rams and Seahawks, Andy. I don't understand how to be so aggressive. But instead of definitely going up 13-10, your play calls resulted in a quick punt, so quick that Seattle actually gets the ball back, goes down the field and takes a lead, and then they get the jump on you in the second half with that fumbled punt. And that was a huge mistake by the Rams. But I'm going to go back to how they mismanaged that at halftime.
Live weekdays from 5 to 6 p.m. here on KDUS AM 1060 and on the KDUS 1060 app.
Is it Michael LaFleur or bust for the Arizona Cardinals? That's what we're going to try to get to the bottom of right now as we enter day 2 of LaFleur Watch. Now, how do you follow up a big steak dinner? What do you do for breakfast? What do you do for lunch? These are the questions that Sports Talk Radio need to be answering today.
Okay.
If you're not going to have the big dinner, whether it was a steak dinner, I'm just assuming it was a steak dinner. What do you do for breakfast the next day? What are you doing for lunch?
Okay, so
we're in day 2.
Depends what Mike likes, but I'm a Burrito Express guy. Get him a good breakfast burrito.
Okay.
You get some.
You could take him to Snooze.
You take him to Snooze.
What's that? Over Easy's another one.
Over Easy, solid. Diners, drive-ins, and dives on Over Easy.
We've got
Matt's Big Breakfast if you're downtown.
If you want to show them the local
That's
spot.
great.
We got choices.
That's breakfast.
That's how we enter day 2 of LaFleur Watch. You could have some breakfast. And then for lunch, he probably had lunch yesterday.
Yeah, correct. But I'm assuming he's in Tempe?
I would assume that that's where he is staying.
So then, got to go to Chuck Box.
Oh, there's a story. You were there for that story, right?
Yeah, I was the one who.
That's right. There's a great story that we'll tell at some point. I don't want to tell it right now, but there is a story about ASU football, a broadcast, a rainstorm, and Chuck Box. That is one of my favorite moments of working in sports media. Just the chaos of that.
I think that was the day I met you, right? That was game number 1.
Yeah, that was the first time you and I had ever worked together. First time we had met. And it was the craziest 7+ hour day because that was a long one. That was a long day.
We were there till 2-3 in the morning.
The post-game show got off the air, I think, a little after 2:30.
Yeah.
Like, it was a long day. And those types of days are ones that I love. I cherish those types of
days. You were like, in the moment, I was like, all right, like we're still doing a 2.5 hour post-game show. And then it wraps up and you're like, that was good fun.
It's something that you'll never forget. Okay, we're in day 2 of LaFleur Watch. And is it LaFleur or bust? Would it be a miss? You asked this in Buy or Sell a little earlier, producer Evan. Would it be a miss if the Cardinals ended up needing to go back to the drawing board, and if it's Anthony Campanelli or if it's Raheem Morris who ultimately ends up getting this gig? And I tend to lean towards yes. And I lean towards yes because of just everything we've been talking about for the last 2 days. It's a 2-day interview. He picks you right away. Word gets out last night that you're whining and dining him. It just feels like it would be a huge stain and an embarrassment for you to go through all of this and for him to say, you know what, I don't want this job. That would just be a bad look for the organization. But another thing I've been thinking about, he's the only offensive-minded coach in the field that is remaining. Of the 3 finalists, he's the only guy on the offensive side. And you have, this offseason, a major quarterback decision looming. Kyler Murray's future, the future of the quarterback position for the Arizona Cardinals, is going to be determined this offseason. Don't you want an offensive-minded guy to have a seat at that table, to throw out some potential out-of-the-box ideas for how you can get a quarterback in here for the future? Not to say that Anthony Campanelli and or Raheem Morris won't have ideas, but don't you feel like the ideas coming from Mike LaFleur, who's worked with McVay, has worked with Shanahan, has worked with Mike McDaniel, has worked with his brother, is going to have a pretty good idea of how to chart this course, how to navigate through quarterback purgatory and get out the other side? Because, again, he's been through it with Zach Wilson. He knows what it's like when you pick the wrong guy. He also knows what it looks like when you have somebody like Matt Stafford. That knowledge is irreplaceable. That knowledge cannot be replicated by Anthony Campanelli or by Raheem Morris. So, yes, would I be okay if Anthony Campanelli or Raheem Morris ended up becoming the head coach because things with LaFleur didn't work out? Yes, I think they're fine candidates. But I do feel like it is LaFleur or bust when you consider everything we've been through the last 2 days and you add on top of it the looming decision on offense for this team at the quarterback spot. It is going to be the decision that sets in motion whether or not this franchise can be saved, whether or not this is a 2 or 3 year fix, or if it ends up being a 5 or 10 year fix. You've got to get this decision right. And I'm biased. I'd rather have an offensive-minded guy with a seat at that table when those conversations are happening. I'd rather the final say on the roster from the coach be somebody who's an offensive-minded guy. He's the only good option when we all know that is the conversation that comes next. I'll let you be in the producer's chair for just a second. We're not replacing producer Evan. We're just going to put you in the producer's chair for just a second. The moment Mike LaFleur gets hired, I know what your questions are going to be. Okay, what's next? What's the draft plan at number 3? What's the free agent plan? What's the quarterback plan? What is Kyler Murray's future? Who can they go out and target in free agency? Is this offense now going to be better? Those are all reasonable questions to ask the moment Mike LaFleur gets hired. And those are all questions that we will tackle together. But I feel good about those questions being answered if Mike LaFleur is the guy. So, yeah, I think it's LaFleur or bust. I really do. 480-864-1060 is the phone number. We got one more before we hand things off to Jim Rome at the top of the hour. You can also hang out with us over on the KDUS AM 1060 YouTube live stream. If you're listening on the KDUS AM 1060 app, listen for your chance to win 2 tickets. The 28th annual Arizona Renaissance Festival in Gold Canyon. Open Saturdays and Sundays from January 31st through March 29th. You can find magical moments at every corner of the 50-acre village. Don't miss it. We've got your chance to win a pair of tickets for listening on the KDUS AM 1060 app. When we return, it is all of the stories we didn't get to today on the show. We call them the leftovers, and we will try to get to them next. It's the lunch break, KDUS AM 1060.
The Dan Patrick Show.
I wasn't going to ask too much of Jarrett Stidham. I just wanted him to maintain. You throw one deep pass late, and then you come back and try to throw another deep pass in those conditions, and he gets picked off. They just weren't threatening on all. Well, neither team was, because the weather was, obviously rough enough that we could even find. Jim Nance is like, I don't know where the ball is. I think the 33-yard line.
Weekdays, 7 to 10 a.m. on KDUS AM 1060. The Marshall Tucker Band. Get ready for a night of legendary Southern rock and sing along to all the classics. The Marshall Tucker Band with special guest Firefall, bringing their timeless hits. February 28th at the Celebrity Theater. Tickets on sale now at celebritytheater.com. The Marshall Tucker Band and Firefall, brought to you by Danny Zalisco Presents.
At CertaPro Painters, we know that a happy place comes in many colors, like ones that inspire a sense of wonder, or a new flavor that makes life just a little bit sweeter, or one to celebrate those moments that lift you to new heights, at home or at work. We'll make your happy place your own. CertaPro Painters. That's painting happy. Each CertaPro Painters business is independently owned and operated. Contractor license and registration information is available at CertaPro.com.
Hey, Mom. It's me. Oh, my gosh. You'll never believe what I just opened for Valentine's Day. A sapphire ring from Helzberg. Just like the one I lost years ago. Remember how excited I was when you gave it to me? I cannot believe you remembered that story. I guess you were right. I really found the one.
This Valentine's Day, create a moment that means something with up to 40% off gifts at Helzberg. Shop in store or at Helzberg.com.
Every day begins with the promise of something new, a new perspective, a fresh start. At Banner Health, right here, right now, we're pioneering new ways to treat cancer with our own immune systems. We're among the first to treat Parkinson's with the patient's own cells. And we're a world leader in artificial heart implantation, all while training over 1,300 doctors every year. Impressive, right? It's just another Banner Day. Banner Health.
NAU men's basketball continues on both KAZG 1440 and KDUS AM 1060 this Thursday. Join the Lumberjacks as they look to defend home court against Eastern Washington. Head coach Shane Burkhardt knows his team has the tools they need in order to score another home win. Join Mitch Stroman on the call live. It's NAU versus Eastern Washington this Thursday. Pregame at 5:30 p.m. over on KAZG 1440 and tip-off at 6 also on KDUS AM 1060.
All right, what do we have in the leftovers today, Producer Evan, as we get out of here on the Tuesday edition of the program? We are still awaiting what do you do on day 2 of your in-person interview? You go on a hike?
No.
Camelback Mountain?
You think he's a hiker?
I don't know. I just don't know what you do on day 2. You've had now 2 interviews. You had a virtual interview to start. You've then had
They
him in
played
person.
some golf today?
A little Top Golf?
Yeah, a little Top Golf. Have you been over to Pop Stroke?
I have.
It's a good time.
It's a very good time.
Very good time. In the leftovers, Darian Mensah. Did you see this? So he's the quarterback at Duke.
Yeah, he wanted to leave. Duke wanted to enforce that he had signed a contract. There was a court case that was filed. My understanding is they've come to a resolution.
Correct.
And they're going to let him leave?
Yeah, so now he is leaving and is eyeing Miami to be the next quarterback of the Hurricanes.
Sure. Can I be very honest with the listeners of this program right now?
I want you to be very honest.
It is very hard for me to get on board with everything that goes on in a college football offseason to the point where I just wait until it's like 3 weeks before the season starts, and then I pull up the roster page and I see who's on the team.
Yeah.
Like, guys are moving all over the place.
Yeah.
There's no sense in trying to figure out who's got the best roster right now.
No.
It's going to change 14 times between now and the start of the season.
Correct. Yamamoto is officially on Japan's roster for the WBC. I can pull up their official roster.
It has a lot of good players on it.
Yeah, correct. Yeah, so they do have quite a few good players on the roster. Pitchers, guys you would know, or MLB guys I'll give you. Shohei Ohtani.
Okay.
Kikuchi. Sagano, the Orioles.
Seiya Suzuki's on the team, is he not?
Yeah, I'm giving. He might be. I only have pitchers.
Okay, you know what? My apologies. Leftovers is your segment. I'll shut up.
No. Yuki Matsui.
You know what?
Not what I was saying. Yuki Matsui and Yamamoto. Infielders is Kazuma Okamoto and Murakami. Outfielders, Seiya Suzuki. Those are the guys that are in the MLB on the roster.
They are the defending champs. They won last go around, and everybody feels like it is another USA-Japan collision course, but we'll see. It's one of my favorite events of the sports calendar when it comes up, and I'm very much looking forward to the WBC.
Yeah, correct. I think that's a great way to put it. Couldn't have said it better myself.
So yeah, I'm ready to go. How many days we got? 40 something?
We have. Give me 2 seconds.
If you just go to statcast.com, it has it
that's
right there
what
at the top.
I am doing. It's exactly what I am doing. We are 36 days away from the first World Baseball Classic.
I love it. 36 days away. A little over a month till baseball's back in our lives.
Here we go. 4 keys to a bounce back for Zach Gallen. I just found this article at the top of Baseball Savant. Would you like to get into this?
No, not with 2 minutes to go in the show. This is a great story because I'm starting to wonder if Zach Allen is just going to be back on his team next season.
It seems what this story believes, yes. I have heard nothing.
Zero. A guy has zero market. Zero. Haven't heard him take a meeting with a team.
I was going to say, it is crazy how little I've heard.
He might just come back.
I think he's going to. And if he starts on a Tuesday, he's great. Have you seen that?
He's really good on Tuesdays.
Yeah, he's got like a 2-1-3 on Tuesdays.
He was great in the second half last year. I'm surprised that more teams aren't looking at that and the overall body work and saying, this guy can be a number 2, number 3 starter for me on a short deal. I know I've got to give up a pick, and I think that may be the thing that's stopping teams, is that he got the qualifying offer. But if you're looking for, you know where he's going to go? Never mind. He's not going to the Diamondbacks. Zach Allen's going to be a Baltimore Oriole in the next 2 weeks.
That makes a lot of sense. Makes a lot of sense.
Because I think they need another starter.
Yeah, they do.
And so they're just going to add him to the middle of that rotation.
That makes a lot of sense.
And he's going to be really good there.
He's going to be great. In other MLB news, Aaron Judge will be on the cover of MLB The Show.
Yeah, after trolling the world yesterday by saying they're not going to have a new cover athlete, everybody kind of saw through the games and realized that it was going to be somebody that was already on the cover. I thought they were going to do a Ohtani Judge cover with both of them. WBC, Japan USA, Dodgers Yankees, two biggest names in the sport. I thought they were going to go that route, but instead they just go with Aaron Judge. I mean, you can't blame them.
Can't blame them at all.
No, we're going with, the second best player in the sport. So,
listen, and maybe the best hitter in the sport.
Oh, yes, no doubt.
So, can't blame him at all. That's all we got.
What a great edition of The Leftovers. What a great edition of The Lunch Break. We'll find out tomorrow. Did the Suns win? Did Jalen Green play? Is Mike LaFleur the next head coach of the Arizona Cardinals? All the questions that we have at the end of the show today that hopefully we'll get some answers to when we're back again tomorrow. Producer Evan, thank you for all that you do. Jim Rome's coming up next. Everybody, have a great rest of your Tuesday. We'll talk to you tomorrow. See ya.